Good morning, everybody. This is the Personal Playlist Podcast, fondly referred to as the P3 on Voice Ed Radio. I'm Noah Daniel.
Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand.
I am so excited to have Ora Goldin here on the Personal Playlist Podcast. Ora is the founder and lead facilitator of Living Rhythm. She is profoundly inspired to make a positive impact on people's lives and their well-being. It was her passion for rhythm, wellness, fostering deep connections, and building team cohesion that led her to create her company over 14 years ago. Ora is a certified holistic practitioner and has had extensive international training as a drum circle facilitator, including as a certified HealthRhythms facilitator, which is an evidence-based protocol using drumming and rhythm as a way to impact people's health in a positive way. She has led programs and workshops in myriad settings, including multiple school boards for both students and teachers, presented at conferences, and has designed a school mental health and mindfulness-based program called The Beat of Now. Her goal is to be a catalyst for a paradigm shift as to how schools support well-being for their staff and students, helping to make mental health more than a buzzword. Welcome to the show, Ora.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to be here. I've watched you grow as a facilitator and really become a wellness leader, drawing on so many personal experiences and creating powerful things. Really, it's beyond experiences because what you do brings people into the moment, but it also gives them tools going forward. And one of my favorite things is seeing your testimonials, and some of them were on your website. And this one student in grade 5 wrote, I usually have at least 10 thoughts going on in my brain at once. And now I'm just here right now. That has never happened before. And I think so many people through their mindfulness work want students to feel that. And the fact that that's what happened and that was the data that you got coming out of an experience is a real testimonial to the kind of power that rhythm-based wellness experiences can be. What made you start down the wellness path specifically?
Well, again, thank you so much for having me here. It's really an honor. And wellness has been a calling for me since I was a child. I have wanted to help heal and help support people since I can remember. And when I was studying the different modalities that I was studying for 3 years, it turns out they were all vibrational modalities. And so I actually met my husband through a bachelorette party where he did a drum circle for her and for somebody. And I realized that there was something bigger than working one-on-one in a clinic setting for myself, that my true calling was about community work in group settings as a facilitator of experience. And I love the way you said, I think you said a rhythmical wellness experience. Rhythm has impacted me and permeated my soul for also as long as I can remember. It wasn't about playing an instrument for me so much as really feeling the depths of rhythm. I actually feel that I ride the waves of rhythm similar to a surfer. My mood can shift up or down based on the songs that I'm hearing. And rhythm and music has had such an impact in my life. So to be able to meld my goals of wellness and helping people, all kinds of people in all kinds of ways, to going to depths, which is really where I seem to shine, is taking people a little bit deeper than maybe they're used to going. And then adding all of that into the realms of of rhythm it's been a really profound journey for me. People, children, educators have an opportunity to feel successful, period, that they have that chance, no matter what their experience is with rhythm. So from that place, the goal is that drumming and rhythm, it's a metaphor. It's not about taking home a drum, although I certainly would support everyone having a drum at home. It's really about the tools to pause, to use breath, pause, connection, asking ourselves the question, what is true for me right now? If we don't take the time to stop and just connect to what is our body doing? Where's our mind at? Our thoughts, our muscles? How do we even know what tools we need to access in order to even support ourselves? When I think about rhythm, I think about the life force that keeps us alive. So we can think of drumming and rhythmical wellness experiences as a way to connect to that deep force, that heartbeat, that not only is my own life force, but is the life force that connects me with every human being on this planet. So it is such a powerful tool to explore for connection and well-being. Mental health, it is a challenge and um, a scenario that I've navigated through for most of my life. And it is a multifaceted, multi-layered experience and approach. So for me, it is about how can we teach people in an engaging and exciting experience where people are not only having the experience in that moment, but are inspired to then look at their health, their overall well-being and say, there's lots that I can do to feel not only inspired, but to live their most amazing, healthy, vibrant life, which we all deserve. And so we offer tools that can then be used throughout the day. And the goal is to create this image, getting beyond the Buddha, the monk sitting on the mountain, separated from life, spending hours, months, days, separated and meditating. How can we take moments throughout our day to make a massive impact on our mental health and our overall well-being? And that's our overall message. And if I just may add one more thing is, for me, what I love about this program is it addresses two relationships. Because I find so many health and wellness activities that are amazing, but they often focus on the relationship with self, me and myself, and how wonderful. But what's so powerful for me about these workshops is that they both focus on my relationship with myself while focusing on the relationship with the people around me. And we know that a sense of connection, that we are hardwired for connection, and that feeling a sense of community and belonging can truly affect how we heal and how we feel wellness and experience that in our lives.
There is something powerful about a shared experience and being mindful. And one of the things, in the many different pieces of feedback is, how do you control your monkey mind essentially and explore all these aspects in the world, right? What we're trying to teach students in the classroom is, how do you take everything that's going on all around you and still find that pause and still be able to follow your breath? So it's amazing that you do that in a group scenario, because it really does make a difference. And that relationship that students are building with themselves and the larger community are all things that probably do impact overall wellness. I guess that's why you prefer teacher workshops. Not that you prefer, I know how much you love working with children, but because you want to have the teach the teacher idea and you want to be able to have more reach. What have you experienced differently in a teacher workshop than you do with students?
I think teachers are overwhelmed. And I've even had teachers say, it's really nice. Like, I'd love to come and have self-care and learn tools, but I have to, on my PDA day, on my break, I have to go look after my classroom. I have stuff to get done. I have curriculum. I have expectations. And I'm sad because I know that in any setting, whether it's corporate or school systems, that it is a trickle down effect. We must start at the top. We must create a culture where the adults in the building, the adults in the community understand that not only, again, twofold, the self-care part, and then the tools to help the people that they're supporting, the students. So I love working with teachers because we get to really access the possibility of creating that shift in culture, that paradigm shift where we're now, it's really a mindset. So there's only so long we can go looking after the to-do list. At some point, our bodies will say, you're not paying attention. And there's lots of ways that it can do that. So can we preempt that? Can we say, okay, this matters. This is more than a buzzword. Mental health days are great. Wellness days are great, fantastic. But what are we doing on a day-to-day basis to really make a shift, to support our teachers, to let them know that their self-care matters, and to give them and empower them with the tools to support the students? Because again, we can give all the tools we want to the students, but if it's not coming and being led from their educators, then it can be more difficult to really make an impact in an integrative sense. Because to me, it's all about the integration. Let's not just talk about it. Let's live it. Let's breathe it. Let's make it a part of the experience every single day. Let's send the message that your health and well-being matters, and that there's lots of ways, and it doesn't take a lot of time, that we can really make a massive impact and shift the way we experience ourselves at school, academically, and socially and emotionally.
There's so much that you said that is so powerful. I want to focus on the idea of time, because I think that seems to be like the one most difficult thing related to any kind of change is teachers' gut responses. There just isn't time. And there is time, and time can be something that you capitalize on actually, instead of always something that is a bump in the road. And I think that you've given me some really good examples of how the little things on a regular basis can actually have a greater reach sometimes than those one really profound experiences, although I've had so many of them at your workshops and seeing how you affect people. So everything that, you say I've experienced in person, and it's amazing. But what's interesting too about time, and it takes us back to the show, is all that people do here on the Personal Playlist podcast is take the time to share 3 songs. Really simple, same scaffold for every person, a nostalgic song, a song that reflects your identity, and a song that picks you up. And people, all people, students and teachers spend real time on this. And even though the show is short, there's a lot of time preparing for this. So when you were choosing your nostalgic song, what was your thinking around which song you would choose?
I have to say, what a journey. And I know many people have said so on your show. What a journey. Only out of the 3 songs that I've chosen, only one changed, actually. Although I tried to change them in some ways, but these are the ones. And I know nostalgia is defined as a happy memory, I think. But for me, when I say nostalgia, it's a memory that stands out. And as I mentioned, navigating through mental health has been a big part of my life. And early on, certainly between the ages of 18 and 25, there were some extremely dark times for me. And there are endless albums and songs that were a part of my healing journey. And riding the waves of those songs, as I sort of alluded to earlier, is what helped me go through. It is only through the darkness that we can come out into the greatest light. And songs and rhythms have been a part of supporting me going through the darkness. So when I thought of nostalgia, and it's not meant to be a downer, but it was a song that I used to use as a way to cry to the heavens as to what is going on in the deep pain that I was experiencing. And it's funny to me because I attended one of your women's events called What Lights You Up. And this woman, Christina, brought up this song when we were asked about, a nostalgic song. And she spoke of it as this lighthearted, fun, silly song for her. And my mouth kind of fell open as it was this deep and profound song for me, which again reminds us how subjective all of our experiences are. But for me, I love that I can listen to this song, even though, depression has certainly revisited my life in these last years, and anxiety as well. As I navigate through that and continue to come into my light further and further, I listen to this song from a very different place. And I love to feel growth. I love to take part in process. That calls me constantly is just process. So to be able to listen to this song, still feel it to the depths of my core at the same level, and yet from a totally different place, a different place of consciousness, a different place of awareness. So the song itself represents process for me. And so in that way, it takes me from darkness to light. And so it's a song that really speaks to me. And that's why I'm using it.
Okay, 4 Non-Blondes, what's up?
25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means. Into a crisis times when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head. And I am feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, hey, yeah, yeah.
I've said this so many times, music is a way in, but music is also a way out. And when you gave those examples of how that song has served its purpose in your life, I think that's really reflective of that statement. I know every person can grasp onto music and it can take you back, but it can also take you forward. And I think that that's kind of the transition between the nostalgic song and the identity song, is one that causes you to reflect and the other one that almost forces you to be present, kind of similar to the work that you do.
Yeah, very much like that. And I know you asked me about the process, and it's funny, as I step into my light more and more, the letting go of what others think is definitely a huge part of that process. And it did keep going through my mind. How could I not use all the 60s music I love, the singer songwriters I love? There were so many songs for people to understand the depths of who I am, but 3 songs, and these songs kept coming to me. Again, only this one, the identity song, changed, but, letting go of that is huge. So I'm grateful for this process, because not only was it awesome to just revisit songs and just, go through the years and my CDs, because I still use CDs. But really that idea of just letting go of what others might perceive of me or have thought that I would have chosen, and just really speak from my heart. And so I appreciate that opportunity, because every time I let go another layer of worrying what others think, I step not only greater into my own light, but I own my voice more and more. And that is very much a lead into this next song. So you haven't.
I was just going to say, what a perfect lead into this next song.
Yeah, it really was. So if I may, this was the only song that I changed. Originally, it was clearly going to be the India Arie song called I Am Light. And my name means light, and I'm blessed with my name. And it's a really profound song that speaks to me. But there was something missing about where I'm at in this particular last few months, and really stepping into my power. There was some power. It's a powerful song, but it's a very soft and gentle song. And I saw this song performed on the Oscars, and it touched me deeply. But it wasn't until I saw the movie The Greatest Showman that I finished that movie and I said, nope. This is it. This is the identity song. This is, to me, about letting go. I mean, it speaks of external voices. I think for me, it's about my own internal judges, the cruel, the cruel entities that can sometimes live in my head, that don't want me to be okay or want me to live in my light. And as I make peace with them, I've realized that getting rid of them really isn't the way to go. It's really about finding peace and knowing that those voices were there to protect me at one time. And now it's time to make peace with them and just ask them to sit in the back seat. And this song is about stepping into my power, into my light, and from the place that I can allow and hopefully be a catalyst and a light for others to do the same. My concern of ego has also gotten in the way. And so just releasing and coming into it from humility and grace, and knowing that from my greatest light, I can really, again, be a beacon, hopefully to invite others to raise their vibration and be in their highest light. This is all about our vibration.
I used this song when I was first introducing the self-esteem toolbox that I was giving to my students, and talking about how the power of a playlist to give you bounce back ability is really important. And I'd never done music with grade 3s and 4s. A former guest, Ariana Lampert, came on and she did it with her grade 4s. And I thought, well, maybe. And I used this song actually as my example. And a lot of the students hadn't heard it. And it became the first song on our playlist that I had students who hadn't even done their homework all year or hadn't really engaged. And all of a sudden they had 12 songs that they couldn't stop from adding to the playlist. So songs like this that reflect your identity, they do make a difference, and they give you that chance to have resilience and to be able to feel wonderful. So I'm going to play this song, the movie version of this song, and we can unpack it some more after.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. wanna cut me down. I'm gonna send the blood, gonna drown him out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me.
You know, the movie itself really is about This Is Me, like looking at so many different kind of people and how they're perceived in society, even though it happened, 100 or so years ago. It's so modern and so relevant, and it addresses so many issues in a single film. And this song in many ways surmises it. As your identity song, how does it feel to hear right now?
Good and hard. It's hard to hear any of these songs without all of the sort of the low end and the crescendo ends, because that's the journey these songs take me on. And to not have all of that, it's almost like, wait, there's more. you need to feel it, right? So in a way, it's like, wait, more. But it's, the calling I'm feeling lately is about stepping into my authenticity. And again, as an invitation for others to do the same, speaking our truth. And that song was a powerhouse song for me that relates to that topic. And I'm, beginning to really design workshops around that, a new concept of voice, my voice, the idea that we don't need to find our voice. We have it, but, can we tap into our truth and our authenticity and know that we really each bring something unique and special to this world? So, it's again, funny. As I say, it was the only song that I changed. The only other thing other than India.Arie would have been Guns N' Roses, because that was such a huge identity for myself in the 80s. And I feel like, wow, music can just take me from one end of the spectrum to another. And I actually quite love that. So I'll own that authenticity as well.
And it can, and it can also, in that intensity, it can take you out of it, and it can give you almost a moratorium on your feelings, and it can just give you this other world. So when you were looking for your pick-me-up song, what was your criteria?
I went with something that's been a more recent song, I don't know, maybe in the last year. And because, again, pick me up can happen in any instant. I hear a song and it can shift my mood completely. So that list would have been quite long. But this is a song that I heard it, and to me, it's just a powerhouse song again. And I cannot listen to it quietly. I play it when no one's home at the peak possible volume. And it is a song of movement for me. I cannot sit still. I move my body, and I know how movement is a huge part of my wellness toolkit, moving my body, moving the energy in my body. It calls me. And once again, it goes slow and then fast, really wanting to hear that whole song, but I know that that's not an option. It's just one of those songs that I just knew. And it's funny because I always thought that the word dog was actually dark. So when it sings about the dark days are over, it was like this, it's a celebratory song making peace with my darkness. Because again, I don't know. I think contrast is always a tool for learning and growth. So I don't want to get rid of my darkness, although I'm thrilled to reduce it. But really just, it's a celebration. It's a deeply soulful celebratory song for me that I move my body to and just feel completely empowered by.
Okay. Dog Days Are Over.
Happiness hit her like a train on a track. Coming towards her, stuck still, no turning back. She hid around corners and she hid under bed. She killed it with kisses, and from it she fled. With every bubble she sank with a drink.
Wow.
held on to the headphones because I was rocking out in my chair. I didn't want to lose track of where I was.
Um,
If I may say, when I listened a few times to these three songs to feel the journey. As I mentioned, process journey is just what I really relate to. And I'm so surprised in a way that these were three powerful female voices. There's a lot of male singers and songs by men that deeply move me. And, I actually really appreciated that. I appreciated that stepping into my feminine power. We have masculine, feminine within us, but stepping into that divine feminine power for me right now is very indicative of where I'm at. And I was really grateful actually in listening to the three songs that was the case.
I find it so interesting, people who can know you your whole life, like, I don't know, your sister, would never have known all these songs. Or, I mean, it's amazing. I maybe could have pulled the nostalgia song, but there are lots of people who've come on the show. I've never had such a personal experience to have a relative, never mind my only sister, come on the Personal Playlist podcast. So I'm so surprised and interested by your choices, but it's a reflection of just how personal it is.
Yeah. It's very personal. And even my husband was surprised. These are songs that I guess it's an intimate moment of my own self-therapy. And there are lots of songs that, my son's always saying, you're embarrassing me because I just cannot contain myself. As I said, surfing those waves, my body is moved by sound, by rhythm. But these songs, maybe they have been private. I'm not sure. It's interesting. Not on purpose anyway. I don't tend to keep things to myself. I like that my ability to express myself often is a catalyst for someone else to allow themselves to step into their truth a little bit, even if they don't speak it. That tends to have been something that's come up for me over my lifetime in groups. And although sometimes I want to make sure I step back and allow there's room for others, my capacity to deeply express myself, I think, has allowed me to flourish as a facilitator. And I'm so grateful for these opportunities that I get to work with so many different people in so many ways and offer this experiential experience, right? It's a hands-on interactive experience that, as a metaphor, is something that can touch people so deeply. And rhythm and sound gets beyond our words. There's just sometimes only so much we can say. And just being able to feel and know that sound and vibration, it just cuts right through, right to our core and transmutes it without us even trying. It's profound. I did a workshop for grade 10s last week, and a lot of them didn't want to share, and it didn't matter what I was noticing. And one grade 10 boy actually shared that I asked them to, when we start to just scale their stress levels, 1 being totally relaxed and 10 being completely stressed. And he spoke about coming in and his mind was just racing like crazy. And he was at an 8 and he couldn't believe that he had come down to a 4 or a 5 just in our brief half hour, and how he really hadn't felt so calm and quiet in school he can't remember. And that I get to be a part of that with somebody is really profound for me, and feel like I'm, fulfilling my earthly goals and callings. So, I'm really grateful to be able to talk about this and share this, and the work that you're doing, Noah, through this P3. It's profound. And I think it's even deeper than people even imagine. For myself in my own journey of coming up with these songs, but then, what it could spark for somebody else, or what it could spark for educators to think outside the blocks, when we build outside the blocks, it is a profound concept. We need boundaries. Boundaries help us with growth, and they're important, but when they're too thick, they stop us from growth, and stagnation, just can't lead us anywhere. So I'm grateful, so grateful that you invited me to be a part of this, and that I get to watch you and your journey, and that somehow so much of what we do is actually very much finding alignment as we bring our greatest gifts into this world. So thank you so much.
Ora, thank you so much. Ora Goldin, beating burnout, reducing stress, and improving wellness. We are all living rhythm. How do people find you?
So I have a website. It's livingrhythm.ca. Our number is 647-444-3786. Please give us a call. Tell us your challenges. What are you struggling with? any shifts you want to create, how you want to support. It's really the triad. It's the educators, the parents, the students. We offer outreach programs for families where they can come together. We come in, we work with all grades. We adapt our programs to each age accordingly. And then, of course, that the teacher workshops. And our goal is to become an integrative component where we're working with teachers throughout the year. We're reflecting on their stress levels, their self-toolkit, and continuing to empower them with ideas to support the students. And we'd love to come out and make rhythm with you for wellness and well-being and our greatest, most vibrant, healthy life. And thank you again so much for this opportunity. I'm truly humbled by it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Ora. Have a great day.
Thanks, Zoe. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on the P3, the Personal Playlist Podcast. I'm Noah Daniel. This is Voice Ed Radio, and I hope you have a fantastic day.